I'm super interested in adventure tourism, and knowing now that you've got experience in that world, can you walk me through and the viewers through what are these caves like? When you are they tight, like places where you have to squeeze through? Are
Yes,
they vast
I mean
openings?
there's the best way I can always pitch to my clients is like the caves are essentially structured by like a series of figure eights. So like just take 3 toonies, place them together, and almost make an S out of it. So if you can picture walking through these caves, and the inner circle of the toonies are these big open caverns, all right? And like you can
Like how
walk
big
through.
are you talking?
Like this open space as high as my roof.
Yes,
Right?
so literally,
Probably
like,
20 feet
there's
high.
parts you can fit this building
20
in,
feet
and
wide,
it's
some
huge,
areas.
right? So
Wow.
caves are dark. By definition, a cave has to be a point of complete darkness. There's caverns like a lot of people went to the caves walking 150 feet, but you can still see light behind you. That's a cavern, all done by water, and it's pretty impressive. Same concept as your drain at home, just pressure, and so. The water finds the softest areas, which is typically limestone caves, because limestone will be the first to go over thousands of years. So when you walk in, the space you see is what was essentially solid rock at one point, but the water eats it away over thousands and millions of years. So when you walk in, it's going through the center of the earth. It's as raw as it gets.
Wow,
right?
wow, I love that. Has anyone died in them?
No, actually, from my knowledge, just a couple like maybe rolled ankles and stuff. But on my watch, there was a couple scrapes and no severe injuries.
Are these systems large enough that you could get lost in them?
100%. We've been in there exploring for 8 9 hours kind of thing.
Oh
and
my
if
God,
you didn't
wow.
know where you're going the first couple of years, you do get lost. I've never had a trip that anyone said that's not the coolest thing you've ever done.
I can tell you're passionate about it and you're knowledgeable about it as well. Welcome everyone to this episode of Taking Action. Today I'm joined with Johnny Fillier as well as Greg Pike. Greg is the owner of Piker's Place in Steadybrook, Newfoundland. Greg, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to open up a bar?
Well, I started off, like I said, years ago. I was did the university career in business to come home and take over my dad's finance company. Gave it a few years, realized it wasn't meant for behind a desk, and at the same time, I think Martin Flynn owns Marvel Zip is probably going to do an episode here as well. And we became friends. I was helping out at the early beginnings of the business. Just my marketing background and just business background. And he knew personally I wasn't happy where I was, so he offered me to come help him out.
Okay.
And so I left the company and started working for Martin. And then the guiding business is up and down. So it was always like friends of mine had bars, and I was it was a side gig, and then became my main gig. And I always said I want my own place, and especially around my location now. I remember when Martin started, and we were probably years before Zipline was open. Like we were looking down up on that building I'm at now. I was like, one of these days, that's gonna be a bar.
Wow, so you had your eyes on it for a long while.
A long time now, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So there's a few things you mentioned there that we could dive into. I mean, you mentioned that your father was in the finance, and it sounds like he was an entrepreneur, and
Yeah.
you probably grew up with a bit of that background. And then you mentioned that you had an adventure tourism business as well.
Yeah, so after I left Martin to go start up with friends of mine, it was called Corner Rock at the time. I just, my Newfoundland Ventures went out of business, and I just seen an opportunity, and I went after it. And so I operated for my first 2 years at my, at the time, Marwood Village condo. And we got too busy, so approached Steve and who owns George's Mountain Village, and operated out of the current building. And it was pretty cool. People, friends of mine, were showing up to go to falls or for a float, and I was just hanging out there. And at the end of the day, I was picking up pop cans and beer bottles, beer cans, and I was like, see, this place would, I think, be a place to come hang out. And I was like, and there's a void in the market up here as a local state worker myself. It's like, hey, you want to go for a bike ride and a couple of drinks, and instead have to go in town. And nothing against Corner Brook, love it there too, but the town needed a little place, like a local kind of thing. So I just, after 20 odd years in the business, and in my 40s, I was like, the late nights were getting to me, and I was like, man, that kind of pushed me to take the leap and start my own gig. So the guiding after the pandemic, like I said, the guiding slowed down, and just bartending alone just wasn't sustainable for my own self. So I was like, man, either I got to get a job I don't want, 9 to 5, just to pay the bills, or move away, or take this on. So I gave my dad helped me out with the finance, starting the thing, and but I'm a bit of a geek, right? So I come home after the bar kind of thing, and just literally, I'm a wind down after bartender, just been putting spreadsheets and doing numbers in that little building for years, and presented my dad, and he said, well, let's go for it, kind of thing, right?
Okay.
So and a year and a half later now, here we are, kind of thing.
Now you can walk home from the bar and
I e-bike now, yeah. Don't walk very many places, yeah. But it is a dream come true to be able to, like, literally, like I said, walk home. Like I said, last night I left work and popped over Johnny's for after work game at crib, and here we are, and I did the same thing. I'm minutes away from home, so it's one of those things. And to see the support from the locals, and being in this community in Corner Brook, and just clients I've had over the years from bartending, and God, just I heard you've got a place to come in, and so my first year, I mean, it's still the first year, lots of kinks to work out, but I feel pretty confident going forward.
I gotta say, their food is really good. That pulled pork sandwich I had yesterday was great. Whatever you had on it, it was like some sort of slaw or coleslaw.
Yeah, coleslaw. Yeah,
it was great.
Yeah.
And then the grilled cheese sandwich with bacon, and then that egg was beautiful today as well.
Johnny Fillier signature.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, it's cool to have that kind of place. Like you get locals coming, kind of get what you want. And my background is behind the bar. I've done it 20 plus years, took courses, and I feel very like. But it's the first stab at the food industry, and actually running my own. Work for Nathan Hornish, another great entrepreneur around here. Owns Pollination up there.
What was his name?
Nathan Hornish.
Okay.
And so he kind of helped guide me along this kind of thing, and a couple of friends of mine. So he's like, keep it simple, and that's kind of where we're at, kind of thing. And the people that got involved, and myself kind of enjoying the food type thing.
Yeah.
Right? So
it's a great vibe. You go in there and the music.
I think that's
nice,
the biggest sentence I enjoy hearing the most is a good vibe. And I think that makes me excited and makes me feel good about what we started over there, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So keep the vibes going.
I've been there now for 2 days in a row. And I gotta say, I've gotten to see almost like under the radar a bit of your work ethic. And I gotta say, you have a good get up and go. For somebody, if you need something right now, you're not willing to settle for second best. You go and you just get what you need immediately when you need it. And that's something that I think entrepreneurs have, but to be honest, I don't think I've seen it in anybody as quickly as you respond to it. If your customer wants something and it's not exactly what they want, I've seen you just stop and go get it, which is really great.
Well, I'm blessed. I mean, I guess my dad distilled that work ethic in me. Sorry, and but it's funny enough. I'm in a convenient place with a convenience store, a liquor store right next door, and there's little things like that, and especially a small space I have. I mean, I've been running other people's bars and for years, and like. Especially like keeping inventories right and like trying to bring everything someone wants, but the ability to deal with a convenience store there if I don't have a certain thing, like running out of milk or someone wants a certain rum, it's like go get it. But I mean, it's
Fireball.
a minute walk, Fireball.
Right.
Yeah. It seems what our staff like it disappears real quick. But but I mean, it's right there. And that convenience is I think a lot of the success of it. Like you said, thanks for saying that. I just do that just because that's. What I feel like that's what I do, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
no, I feel like
do.
Yeah,
it's what you think the customer deserves, and you're willing to go.
Well, if these people are coming like him, they're giving me a chance. I mean, I gotta make that chance worth it for them, you know.
Right.
And things. I mean, there's a lot of great places around. One thing I've been lucky again. My parents have been well traveled and seen some places and worked a lot of different establishments, seen what certain they did right or wrong. But I mean, customer service is number one. I mean, there's times I just in a small community and. You're not always going to have everything, but if I can make that happen, I mean, or a variation of that, I mean, why wouldn't you?
Point in the right direction.
Right direction, and direction's 20 odd feet to the left for me, right? Which is great, right?
Yeah.
So,
I have to thank Johnny for making all these contacts. You're a well-connected person in Steadybrook and in Corner Brook. So how did you two come to meet in the first place?
I'll be honest, man. It's funny enough. When it was our first year at the Zip, and we had a little shack, myself and Martin, that she built. And it was behind, and just in the old lodge. It was just
like
empty
behind the
vacant.
gas station.
Get behind the gas station.
Okay.
It's this wooden building. And I mean, I knew his sister literally because she was a year behind me in school. And I mean, I heard Johnny's name, but back then when you're 4 or 5 years, 6 years old, and something, you just don't connect for whatever reasons. But he walked in. Had hair at the time, and I think he was actually looking to start a parasail company at the time. So I guess he came to talk to Mark and myself.
Is that true?
Yeah,
100% true.
Ventures.
Oh, I thought you said hair sales.
No, I speak quick and mumble sometimes, so I'll try to slow it down a bit. Parasail.
Okay.
Hair sales,
Parasail. Hair sales eventually.
That's what I should have got into.
Yeah. You should have. Yeah. Sell his own hair. It's gone. Yeah. But that's literally how we met. And then we just.
I walked in trying to find insurance for like a risky sport business, you know, like an adventure business, and I tried everywhere.
Right.
I contacted every insurance company to try to get insurance for parasailing, couldn't find it. So I was like, well, I'm gonna go ask Martin Flynn on the zip line, right? So kind of in the same area.
In the same area, and then just.
So then I walked in and Piker was there, and I
picked our brains and then we just were a snowboarder, skier, and then Martin was a snowboarder. It's kind of how we met Martin too. Just I think Martin, I remember when I was coming down Audubon, Martin flew over to the woods, so I went to check on him. And after that day, myself and Martin just start riding together and became good buddies, and just kind of the same thing. We just all kind of the same circle. Martin was kind of connected us all.
It's like 20 years ago.
Yeah, 20 years ago, and I'm known to throw a few parties, and I mean, so you meet people like that, and we just obviously we're on the same wavelength and just came like brothers kind of thing. So.
Actually, you know what's really interesting? Going back to a little bit of your background and the adventure tourism business, we had Dustin Parsons on here earlier today, and he said if there's anybody you should go cave exploring with, it'd be you.
Yeah.
So where did you get that knowledge of the cave systems that are here in Corner Brook, and how did you come
Well,
to
funny enough, I
explore
just
them?
friends of mine were telling. I grew up hearing about it, but like when I grew up as a child, we spent all my time in Pinchco Lake, the cabin, until I was 18. Then went away to university, so I never really got involved with that kind of stuff because I was everything out there. And then when I got back, and friends of mine just were into this caves. I just got to bring me. So we started doing it. I was like, this is awesome, it's fun. And
nobody knew about it.
nobody knew about it. And got the time who owned my Newfoundland Adventures. So I just hop on towards him, help him out. I was like, this is crazy, right? So and then when he had a business, I just saw an opportunity because I mean, I just went after it, and it's one of the coolest experiences. It should be.
We just started taking our friends in there first,
Yeah,
really.
just for
and
fun.
then it just kind of grew into
saw a business opportunity
wicked
again,
little
and
tour,
just went after it, right? So and that's kind of how it was. And then I got lucky enough that I hooked into met some contacts through foreign exchange program, and the students used to come in for years, and it kept us going and going and going and growing. And then
Thanks, Monica.
and thanks. Well, actually, that's true, right? His mother actually connected me to this group. Honest to God. And so that kind of grew from there. And I kept it going right until the pandemic. And it's too bad then because those school groups kind of gave me that definite money to pay for the insurances. But after losing that pocket, it just wasn't profitable to me. And we were all like kids, early 20s, mid 20s when we started this. And going on 20 years later, like people are in their 30s and 40s now, and like you lose the guides to families, and most of those people started as a hobby or just the adventure tourism program was at Grenfell, and they lost that. So every summer I had a pocket of hungry young kids wanting to. So finding staff was easy, and then towards the end of it, it got essentially impossible. And again, it's very finite kind of business where there's 2, 3, 4 people I trust outside myself to bring a family to the caves without me.
Yeah.
He's one of them, but then it just they got busy with family or other careers and moved away, and it just got less and less, and and then insurances got more and more, and it just wasn't feasible for me.
Right.
So like, I used to guide by day and bartend by night, and then I had a great little life doing that. Then turned 40, I needed more sleep, and then couldn't work 20 hours a day anymore, and all that stuff. And then it just, like I said, it just panicked. And then I was like, man, after so long, I have one concentration, right? Because I always had 2 or 3 things on the go, whether it's my own or something else, and I always put 100% in, but those things are only getting 33% of my 100, right? So, and I didn't want 14 T4s anymore, and just wanted to be happy, just kind of. I always chased lifestyle, I guess, and I think that was my next lifestyle choice was this. I mean, it's like bartending. I think everyone kind of says this party scene. Like, I guess in one sense it is, but I wanted to create something that wasn't that. So, the reason why I call it a place is a pub, restaurant, lounge, bar has a certain definition, and I want to get outside of that. So, if you call it a place, I had the power to make that place what it was, adapt to the changes, adapt to the things, and So
plus, it sounds really good. Piker's Place,
right? Yeah. And they say Piker's Place is a big Pittsburgh Penguins fan, like the double PP logo, and there was multiple things. Another entrepreneur, Jeremy Osmond, when he did my logo design, he was like, "This is the hardest logo design I've ever done because you gave me so many angles." But there's a handful of other logos all released down the road, but he killed the first 2 original ones I have out, and the PP was a big, part for me. And the Pike name is actually Irish descent, and Irish gypsy, Irish kind of like Pikey, Piker kind of thing. So it works out that way. So that's me, my soul is a bit of a gypsy Irish soul, I guess. And so it worked out a couple different angles.
Yeah, I love that. I love how much of your personality is into that part too. I mean, I don't really know you very well. I've only met you the last couple of days, but you can kind of get a feel for it when you walk into it. It certainly does have a different vibe than a bar or a lounge or anything else. It is a unique place.
Yeah, and just kind of like the whole set of it, like people say, it feels like home in someone's basement. That's kind of what I was going after. I wanted more of a lounge, sit down, feel like the bigger bars can feed that, but like come back there, but like it's literally a memory of because I didn't always grow up in Steadybrook. I bought the land in '95. We moved here '96ish, But when we were in Corner Brook, we had a split level home. The third level was our living room and rec room. But Dad had this really cool bar area, and he had me making drinks for his clients and friends since I was a child. I wasn't drinking; I was just making them. But I always had an affinity behind the bar, and I was always the one hosting the parties. So I was always behind the bar, mocktails or just. And that's how I learned a lot about it. I was just really interested in it, and actually, it was the Iceberg Vodka started up years ago. I was the rep for them for years. So I think that kind of gained my interest in that business and learned a lot about how the process and the history of it all. And you become more of just not a server bartender, you become a mixologist or professional. I just went through courses on it and read every book known to man. It's what you like to do. I think that's the biggest key in life. Is like I feel lucky just whether I become rich from it or not, but to me personally, be able to get up and live your dream every day, as hard as it is, and it is. But
do you have any drinks that you love to make or that you go to, you do really well?
I mean, there's, I do like mixing the I gotta say, like Caesar, I'm known for my Caesar, and
that's right.
After 20 years of just playing around with it and just having that ability as a rep and just so you can just kind of play around with it. And so I just had different tweaks on it. Like there's one called the Piker Collins, which is essentially my take on the Town Collins. It was 7-8 years ago. It was Valentine's Day, and these ladies came in. He's like, "You got nothing for Valentine's Day?" I was like, "What did you drink, my love?" She's like, "Gin." I was like, hang on, all right. So Town Collins, maraschino cherry juice, and Piker Collins was born.
Okay.
So it had a little pink thing, but man, that's one of our biggest sellers over there, right?
Wow.
Yeah, it's a different tweak on something else, but I like playing around kind of thing. But I do enjoy the cocktails. I mean, just snapping a beer off kind of thing, and just kind of like creating your own. Like most of that menu I have over there is me creating my own designs. A lot of them like. When I looked at it after I did it, I was like, I forgot what was in it. And I was like, just coming after work.
Yeah, what is this, Piker?
What is it? Oh, yeah, some of the mirrors.
Can't remember.
I think I was watching some of the mirror that movie, and whatever in that movie spawned me to make that drink. And I can't remember what it was at the time, but I mean, it's just kind of taking like original recipes and kind of learn that tweak and you learn like flavors of liquor and flavors that and just kind of almost like talent chef can do kind of thing. Take something and create. Something or take nothing, create something out of it, right?
It's really a creative outlet for you.
Yeah, really, right?
And express yourself that way.
I'm a social person. I just work a lot, but I mean, they're like a lot of my best friends are showing up, and new people are there. So like, in that sense, is as much as you work is like I'm home on days off and like kind of go over to Piker's place. Right? So literally just chill out, and that's kind of the vibe I want.
I'm there
right?
all the time.
Yeah, most people are. Like, just in the games, like my dad, not so much, and his assistant's been part of our family a long time, and she was does my book. She's like, "Why are you buying all these games?" I was like, "Cause it's a place that people want." Like, and tell you what, like those games paid themselves off and then some. It's like it is different. You come in and you come and hang out and stuff, right? I mean, it's not a original idea. I've seen these kind of things happen other places, but that's the kind of place I want it. It's essentially a licensed rec room, right? Or bar, So it's really cool to see it happen. People, the kids come in and embrace. My friends' kids come in. I remember my sister was home with my little niece last summer, and all her friends there with their kids. They were running around. Now 8:30 they got to go, but during the day, and it's a family place, and even instead of there's people there. I thought that they wouldn't. Is surprised by just that support. So the word's getting out now. It's a comfort place to go, kind of thing, right? Especially in my background of running like nightclubs and that kind of thing. So now they realize, hey man, maybe he's insured of it, and he's got a place to go and have some gains and bring my family.
Absolutely, yeah. There's more to you than just what they might know on the surface.
Yeah, I understand. I think that's most people in general, kind of thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think just dealing with people, that's just one I think is enjoyment. Is people getting to know people and enjoying, like hearing their stories as a bartender.
100%.
I've had some of the worst, boring stories ever, but man, sometimes
so
I can write a book and just stuff bartenders here. Like, and you realize either like just people sad, good stories, but I think I've read, like I said, every book known to man, but the first 10 pages I always say is like, people walk in to get engaged. They're not there to, whether they're there to be silent, but they're not there like coming to sit by themselves. They're there just, they need people around, whether you want them talking that, and they get over their shells. Like, whatever reason, people open to a bartender, I guess. And just that trust is there for whatever reason. I'm not sure why, but
alcohol.
I'm glad that person, alcohol helps, I guess. And if you're a talking person that you kind of learn to just what to say in the right times, I guess, and what not to say. And that's helped me as a person too, getting through it, right?
Absolutely.
I was never much of a shy person, but I remember years ago, I'd be like the class clown, but every time we had to do a speech, I'd freeze up. Now that changed in life, but I mean, like after so many years working at Zipline, these big groups, and I think behind the bar, you're on stage, right? And this thing is like, it's one of you and then dozens of everyone else, right?
That's right.
So like every mistake you make, and you develop a thick skin because of that, right? And I think that's, so, I mean, I got to thank bartending or that kind of thing, or let me like the person I am kind of thing. Just excited to meet people and do that kind of thing, right? So.
Absolutely. It's very interesting. I want to take a little bit of a back step because I'm super interested in adventure tourism, and knowing now that you've got experience in that world, can you walk me through and the viewers through what are these caves like? When you are they tight, like places where you have to squeeze through? Are
Yes,
they vast
I mean
openings?
there's the best way I can always pitch to my clients is like the caves are essentially structured by like a series of figure eights. So like just take 3 toonies, place them together, and almost make an S out of it. So if you can picture walking through these caves, and the inner circle of the toonies are these big open caverns, all right? And like, you can
Like
walk
how
through.
big are you talking?
As big as
Like this
summer
open
of a bar.
space as high as my roof.
Yes,
Right?
like,
So,
literally,
probably
like,
20 feet
there's parts
high.
you can fit this building
20
in,
feet
and
wide,
it's huge,
something
right?
like
So
Wow.
caves are dark. By definition, a cave has to be a point of complete darkness. There's caverns like that. A lot of people went to the caves walking 150 feet, but you can still see light behind you. That's a cavern. So caves doesn't have to be big, but that's what it is. So you explore these things, but the outer rings, like they say, like the inner of the toonie is the caves,
Main
main
rooms, yeah.
room, or and then the outer ring. So you walk the clients through, make sure they're comfortable. But on the way out, we'll go in through the ring, and then come back to the same. So it's all these little units. Essentially, what it is just it's all done by water, and it's pretty impressive. I mean, it's if you've seen like Lord of the Rings, or especially like for golems walking through, that's what the Corner Brook caves look like.
Oh.
So I mean, this whole valley was an old watershed valley. We're going 20,000 years ago, kind of thing. And so all the water is the same concept as you're draining home, just pressure. And so the water finds the softest areas, which is typically limestone caves, because limestone will be the first to go over thousands of years. So when you walk in, the space you see is what was essentially solid rock at one point, but the water eats it away over thousands and millions of years. So when you walk in, it's going through the center of the earth. It's as raw as it gets.
Wow.
Right?
Wow, I love that.
And there's really tight space too. Like I think
Oh, man,
one,
I've been in
one
there,
name
like,
of the spot's
yeah.
Wormhole.
Wormhole, and there's we kind of
your
call these
belly,
different
and
names,
you're
right,
back
on your
in the
belly.
columns.
and-
No way.
Yeah.
Has
Yeah.
anyone died in them?
No, actually, from my knowledge, just a couple like maybe rolled ankles and stuff. But on my watch, there was a couple scrapes and no severe injuries.
Wow.
But they're like going over the guy. A lot of people ask the guys. I mean, I don't point them out where they are.
Yeah.
They're hard to find anyway. This cavern kind of thing.
Right.
But it is uber impressive. Like I said, a big part of me misses guiding that aspect. I do, like the same thing. Miss guiding the zip line. Don't miss floating down the river as much because it's not as thrilling as you would think, kind of thing. But the caves are pretty special, I got to say.
I can tell you're passionate about it and you're knowledgeable about it as well.
Well, I mean, it's just you learn over the years, and like I was a bit of a geology enthusiast. I can't say buff enthusiast since I was a child. My parents always bought me those kind of books, and so it was just I was like, oh, this is that, and bringing the school groups in, like I said, from Grenfell. I learned a lot about the rocks and stuff. And
Stalagmites,
and
Right.
like fissures and and marble. Kind of thing, right? There's a lot of marble around here, which is known as the valley because this is probably the start of the world here. And it's rough and rugged.
Yeah.
And my brother-in-law is an Aussie, and him and my sister live in New Zealand and Australia, and they travel. They're travelers, and they've been to a lot of caves. He says this is his favorite,
No way.
just because it's so natural and raw. And a lot of caves now are hippie touristic. They're lit up, and you can walk through. It's super cool. A lot of pictures like there's this, but this is literally like if you wonder what underneath the ground is like, this is it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you'll explore that and just see
Fraggle Rock.
Yeah, Fraggle Rock, right? Literally see nature at its best, man.
Yeah.
It's impressive, like how it was done. It was violently created, put it that way.
Right. Are these systems large enough that you could get lost in them?
100%. We've been in there exploring, but on hours kind of thing.
Oh
and
my
if
God,
you didn't
wow.
know where you're going the first couple of years, you do get lost. I remember when I trained my guides, I let them go in, and this is years ago, especially when like Johnny's with a pencil rep now, kind of the lights have leaps and bounds that we used to have.
Yeah.
Like they're like little like
They're
2 or 3
candle lights.
2 or 3 lumens. Can't like literally candle now you can blow the cave up kind of thing. So yeah, she can't get lost. So like I'll guides in and then let them, and then you just walk right past because like the shadows gone. Like if you don't. If your light's not ahead of you, it's just darkness.
Yeah.
Like that Family Guy episode with Stewie, you just got the headlamp on. That's exactly what it's like if you don't.
Wow.
It is. It's dark, right?
Wow.
Like, it's big, but it's dark. Like, say you got claustrophobia, but it's not. It's not a small space.
And there's water rushing down through it too. So
yeah.
like,
Well, it's a major river. Essentially,
there's a dam at the top, right?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, to blow it in.
Supposed to make a phone call before you go in there in case they opens the dam and stuff like that. But they haven't opened a dam in like 40 years or something.
Well,
like
I mean, even now, I think it's. I mean, I'm not saying you should go in there during certain times of the year. I mean, the dam could release, and with the cave I bring people in, the water will probably rise subtly.
Yeah.
The highest levels I've ever seen since even probably before the dam is there is like May with the runoff from the
Yeah.
but you can still get in there, but you
melt,
can't
yeah.
access certain because the water's too hot.
Yeah.
But you still get in there. Like it's as a cave goes, it's probably the safest cave in one sense.
There's some spots you got to put your head under the water and then go
Yeah.
underneath, and
Really?
then you can pop back up in,
Yeah,
in
there's
another
one-
area.
Yeah, what I used to call the wet tour. Or
Well, it's not very far, but like
Yeah, you just kind of
Still,
duck underneath
yeah.
this. You know, you can
there
go
are
around
other
it.
ways around, but
Yeah.
you can take the.
In the summertime, the water's nice and warm. You
Yeah.
can go underneath and come up, which
Yeah.
is a really cool experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet.
And I think as the tours, like you bring someone for a float down the river, they enjoy it, but it's more of an interpretive tour. It's not whitewater kind of thing, right? And the cool thing about our river is it's affected by the tide. So low tide, there's 150, 200 feet, you get a bit of class 2 or 3, but high tide, you're literally just that float. But in there, just you don't have to say much. Just, since you got them, let them ask the questions. Is that kind of
Yeah.
coolness of it in there? Like, I've never had a trip that anyone said that's not the coolest thing you've ever done.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you know if there's anyone still doing it?
I think Pete Ellerhead down at Second Solutions does, but again, I think the same issue is staffing, finding guides to do it has been his biggest issue, and the bike scene for him has taken off so much. I think the cave's kind of in second tier, especially with he's the same problem with me. He's just losing the clientele after the pandemic, right? And so those big groups used to come in, you know.
Right.
But I think he still does. I know Joe Dix used to do it down at Marble Inn, but he was pushing to me for years and years and years, right? So a big part of me, I would love to get back into it, but just the same problems, and Piker's Place takes up.
Yeah.
Piker's Place is not in a cave.
It's not in a
And there's
cave.
alcohol.
Yeah, it takes a bit. Yeah, exactly.
Maybe a man's cave.
And it's
It's
warm.
a little safer. It's warm.
It's not
yeah,
wet.
It's make it cold if you want. You know,
mean-
you're sitting in outside kind of thing. So
absolutely.
the one sense is, I miss it, yes, but what I got over there is a different kind of adventure, I guess, right? You know?
Yeah.
I actually have a cousin right now who's been a little bit fortunate in terms of finances lately, and he just bought his first commercial location, and he wants to do a rental up top and open up a bar down bottom. Did you have any advice for him opening up a bar for the first time?
Be prepared to work a lot of hours. Yeah, find yourself a good manager. Or I'm not
I
saying
think
not
he
to do
wants
it,
to
but
do it himself. I think he wants to be behind the bar, kind of
well,
like
I mean,
you are as well.
that's what the first
You
advice.
got
I
to,
mean, you can
yeah.
know you can understand business. You understand. You got to. I mean, there's no way I'd be able to like. That's why I always kind of put off because I've offered men like take on big bars, and I just said no just because I know what it takes, right? I mean, I'm a little bit more of this project, but you got to be there like day in day out. I think in the last 400 days, I might have 10 days off that I'm in there kind of thing. And
Wow.
like, now, and saying I'm out over digging ditches. I'm in between rushes. I'm sitting out, and I got a decent timber, so it works really hard. But I mean, it's still long days, and I think the biggest thing for me, I've always worked at Hunt Bar as a manager and stuff like that, and doing the scheduling. But now realizing, Chris Barron goes through, and Martin Flynn goes through as an owner behind the scenes owning the bar, kind of thing. And
Right.
that's the biggest issue for me is not the physical game, it's the mental game that's kind of hit me harder.
Yeah.
What is
And,
some of the stuff that you have to do behind the scenes that not everyone thinks
well,
about?
scheduling just key thing, and someone goes sit it down, looking at the bank account, make sure there's enough money, and looking at what's going forward, going in, because there's good times and down times. But I mean, especially my first year, especially being steady broke, and you got to really make sure not to overspend and. Just the stress of keeping it open, your dad lends you some money, you just don't want to let him down. Like, just personal being a human kind of stress, I think, and I didn't see that before, right? I mean, I've owned like guiding companies, but it's just different. It's when it's done, and move on. It's seasonal, and I know in those 3 months, I know the money's coming in. I was always pretty confident in that, and it always paid for itself. But this thing is, it is a gamble, especially this day and age with the economy and food and alcohol prices going through the roof, and trying to keep your costs down, trying to keep your staff happy, and like those kind of things, right?
Was there much red tape in opening up a bar?
Yeah, I think that was probably the hardest part. I mean, literally, like when I said I've been working this for a long time, that's 2 years of paperwork, year and a half, 2 years of going through the motions and working that site and work with Steve and Bud over there and was on like the plan of it and designing and how to make it work and get the okays and everyone. And I'm lucky enough that I guess being in business so long, I think I know the right people, and I think the town want to see it happen, and the people at NLC want to see it happen. Just knowing the right people, I think that's a lot
Having
of it.
experience.
Right? So I think it took me a year and a half, probably took someone else a little longer. And I think that's the biggest deterrent is like people just this is a lot, and then people probably got it's a full-time job, right? So I mean, I left. I was managing Westgate, my buddy's bar, about 6-7 months before I opened this place. But I was up at 8-9 in the morning working on this like the paper part.
Yeah, this was your passion.
Free
your
part
side
and go
hustle.
for it. So that worked is
And not getting home till 4 a.m.
not going to point then trying to do it again, right? And even with this project now is that there's other projects looking at expanding on that, and like there is government money there and funding out there, but like that's a full-time job in itself. So I mean, biggest thing is like I think I'm doing a really good job operating the bar, but I'm starting to do I can hopefully do a better job owning the bar because there's two different things. I mean, me going in the morning and do what I got to do behind the bar, making the food, doing that, cleaning the building is one thing, but to the wayside, that's an important part of it too. So you come home tired, but people got to get paid, right? I mean, sometimes you have a busy day, but you're 2-3 hours and all of a sudden it's 3 o'clock in the morning again, getting payroll done, so pay your people.
Piker, you're doing a really good job.
Well, thank you.
You are, yeah, you're doing a great job, by the way.
Well, so we'll keep it going and do better. It's not just myself. I guess I'm lucky with good staff and friends and people around me, and my family support, but support from people too. So it's. Thanks. I think I'm doing a good job. I'm going to keep doing a good job, and just hope people keep showing up. And
so, what are some? Let's talk about that operational perspective versus the ownership perspective. What are some things that you kind of want to offload on the managers and move away more from that operational side? And what do you see yourself doing more as an owner?
Doing that paper expansion, like the paper to get that funding and stuff. I mean, I enjoy parts of that as well. But I mean, this peak season, but now it's like after Labor Day weekend, it's busy, but like. I'm obviously finding myself not as tired now because like it's rushes, but like Peter's off needing more. So now I already had more time to get that out, right? So ours was the 3 months of the craziness. A lot of stuff did get behind. I'm behind, and I got a marketing degree. I know I'm behind on certain aspects of the marketing. That bothers me. I'd like to have more time to design those things. And now the off season now, I'm like getting the schedule filled up to keep people coming back, come up with unique reasons to get them there, from music to comedy shows to pop-ups with food friends of mine. So that's where I like to get more of my energy. But I still very passionate behind the bar. I love it, right? So it's a hard mix of like, sometimes you got to say, get someone in this, but sometimes with the budget you have and the money that's come in, I got to be behind the bar. And instead of saying like, because every time I leave 3 hours, just essentially $20 an hour. 60 every like literally every 3 hours.
If somebody calls in sick, you gotta
then I
step
gotta
up.
So I might be home working on something, and then someone calls it a flood or an ice machine breaks down or glass washer is out of something, and that aspect too is getting supplies is a big one because like Barron did most of that. I mean, I did the ordering, but Barron took care of that stuff. Now I got to do it all, right? So I mean, there was times until I figured out to order online, I was going almost every day in the Sobeys to get our food places, and that would take 2 hours of my day when I should be up there getting drinks out, right? And we're all like Heidi or Jenna is left there by themselves when like I always like that 2 people there, just because, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
In this off season now, like one of us can probably do it, and we're kind of creating a menu to help us do that. But I mean, the off season is still not that,
I mixed 2 drinks today.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Johnny, for that help. Yeah. I gave Johnny a training for 1 day, and then he got employed a month, and now he just comes and makes his own drinks. So.
Yeah, I noticed you're pretty comfortable there.
Yeah, well, you should be.
Yeah. I'll help out where I can.
Have you been to St. John's often? Because we have a cocktail bar in there called Papillon, and they do fantastic cocktails.
Well, it's been years since I left the Collingwoods as Iceberg Route. Just hadn't just got to St. John's. I mean, I heard a lot of these cocktail bars popping up, and my years with those guys, I just at a lot of different places and seen like him. I think I'm a good bartender, but I mean, there's some really elite things out there. Like, and for me personally, I like to try to push myself in that direction. Like I think right now my repertoire is where it's at, but I really want to start expanding on a little more elaborate cocktails, like stuff to do.
Travel around different bars.
It's in my head. I kind of know in my head what I want and stuff, but I mean, I just again have the time to do that.
Exactly.
Right? So right now, like operation for me personally, and one thing I learned, especially at the bar scene, is like if everything I had in my head was done my first year and overnight, then that'll get old quicker, everything, right? So there's only year one, that take time. I plan on being there a while, hopefully. So like I'm okay with, all right, and coming to new drinks. I mean, I got as a wine rep, my wine list is not where it should be, but right now it's not detrimental. So when I get the time, I'll do it right, and then get the, I guess.
You got wine there.
Yeah, I got wine there, yes. But,
That's right.
Yeah, a bit limited, but I like to push different aspects of the wine, like wine tastings and things like that. And that's probably I'll have the time to do things like that now this time of year, I guess.
Right.
So that kind of excites me as much as it's nice when the money flows in a little into your peak seasons, but these off seasons are kind of important in our business as well. Good time to kind of keep making it busy.
Absolutely.
But a different kind of busy too. It's just like the summer takes care of itself and winter take care of itself. But the challenge is, and that's obviously I did this for a challenge, not to be easy. So I think now I'm having fun again with it, and that aspect where we plan for and create some new ideas and things, kind of thing. Right?
Yeah.
From movie nights and sports come back, and just different things like activities outside, and just. And like I said, if you don't do it, you got to do it, right? And nothing comes from nothing, right?
So where, if you were to host a movie night, I mean, the space it's tiny. Where would you want to do movies, and where would you do comedy?
Well, I approached the same guys on the same building about 3-4 years ago, an outside movie idea drive-in. I wanted because there was a old drive-in theater I looked at over there. The cast was just so I wanted to bring it down like smaller, and so like. Quads come out, so I got like outdoor movie screens and stuff.
Okay.
So and do it that way.
Cool.
So now, and the summer I was going to do it, and the weather was nice, but it was too bright. Now this time of year, once I get the tent up and stuff, do outdoor movies kind of thing. Come out and just and do it that way.
I love that idea.
Right, and then Mario Kart tournaments, just little things that stuff outside on the big screen outside, and like so even in the wintertime I can make it work. Like snowmobiles come in, or quads come in and just watch a movie some night, or this time of year now, but the lighting's a little better. It gets dark at 8, so I can show a movie in before my closing time. It didn't get dark till 9:30, 10 o'clock in the summer, so the movie idea wouldn't work because it's too bright for that.
Right.
Or inside, like looking at now, maybe weather's that bad. I was literally looking at the ceiling last night, how I can get a screen there, projector in there, so make the screen bigger for movies inside, kind of thing. I've already hosted a couple ones with the like ski movies and the summer movie released 2 or 3 last year. Went over really well. Just with the TVs there, and that was deadly. Like the Red Bull competition's coming up. Like what was it? The one out in Arizona, Rampage. I got a good turnout for that.
Okay.
So if I could do it outside, it'd be great, kind of thing. But in this climate, is weather permitting until I get the enclosed awning on my back, kind of thing. So
okay, so you've got ideas for expanding that.
Yeah, there's like different phases. Phase 1 is what I'm doing now. So like phase 1 might be another year. So like get that little rectangle figured out first, and then phase 2, the awning. And phase 2, like the movies, kind of thing. But I think I can make the movie work soon. So that's what I'm working on now, whether it's inside or out.
Yeah.
And good friends of mine played there last Friday at Proper Things. And outdoor music is really hard, especially talking bands, because they wouldn't fit inside anyway. The solo acoustic show is working out great inside and out. But I think I did 10, 11 acoustics this summer. I think all outside, which is awesome.
Right on the patio there.
Cool.
Yeah.
So like that kind of thing. Like make sure I like to have an outdoor concert event. We hosted the Enduro, which is a mountain bike race.
Yeah, I saw the hat there. I really like that hat,
Enduro, 113 riders, and that was really cool. I think there was over 200 and something people went through the building that day, and like it was expanded my capacity in the field, kind of thing, right? So people didn't know, and that was a great little event.
How did you service 200 people? That's wild.
Well, it's like in that race there was 30, 40, probably were under. It was just more outside. The flow was different. People kind of showed up after the race, and but I had the expansion on the back. I think it was more outside, and the weather worked out for us.
Rope is?
Yeah, in that sense, right? Yeah. So the only real time it was influx of probably it was during the award ceremony kind of thing, and but then after it kind of petered out back to capacity. So it actually flowed well that way.
It's nice having a group close together anyway.
Yeah, 100%, right? And that setting, like, the weather worked out, but I mean, you get tents and trees, you just make it work, I guess, right? So these people are obviously outdoor enthusiasts themselves, so. But Mother Nature this year has been very good to me. So from the outside bands and all that thing, right? So.
Yeah, I hear it's been a wicked season.
Yeah, I think summer started in May.
Literally, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because St. John's is getting fogged in, and the cabins are getting filled up every week because people just had to get out of Dodge. And because we lost our winter early, but we gained our summer back 2 months early too, right? So I think we might have lost in the winter, but we could have gained back. But the snowmobile business and après ski was pretty lucrative. I think my biggest month to date was February, and had a big rainfall, and there was a big landslide at Marble, and that kind of stopped it abruptly, and it was hard for myself and Marble, George's, because ski world's not called Water World, right? They're here to push the winter kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So our economy's based on that, and like our 4 seasons are important, right? Now, the older I get, I'd rather see 28 degrees all year long, but I don't think that's going to happen. So, for me personally, and for my friends and Rugged Edge and all these, those kind of people, like, just bring our winters back again. Like, give us a white Christmas and maybe early spring, but bring back the 3 months we used to get.
So. I hear this is the place to be come wintertime.
Well, I hope so. Yeah, it always was, right? It's a place to be. I think all 4 seasons. I mean, this. I like. The thing is, with me, I was like, I always Marble Mountain, but I believe in Newfoundland. I believe in Humber Valley as much as that place alone. So not to say, but I think there's a reason. the mountain bike scene's grown big time. So there's just kind of drive around here is enough, right?
That's an interesting point. So do they do downhill biking at Marble now?
Not to my knowledge, no. I think most of it is just community got together and created a West Coast Mountain Bike Association, and they're getting funding and doing fundraisers, and they're essentially ahead of the. So beyond Marble Mountain, between here in, like, say, Massey Drive, there's dozens, 20-ish trails and in development and stuff. And I've been lucky enough to go visit Squamish on a regular. My sister and her husband are, and it's comparable. Like they say, Marble Mountain's steep and deep in the winter. It's very similar in the summer for the bikes, right? So you mightn't have the elevation, but the terrain is very similar to that, right? Now, in saying that, most of the mountain bike, you don't go to the very top of Whistler on the bike either. So like really, elevation here is. Now, Whistler's Whistler. It's the Mecca, and that's been at it for 20-odd years, right? But
Right.
I mean, I compare this place to Squamish, and in that sense, this is more just man-made. You just get yourself to the top type thing, or, you know.
We got a wicked group of people here
Oh,
volunteering.
man, the guys are doing a phenomenal job. No, I was away from the
insane.
bike for 3-4 years.
It's sad that it's not at Marble, you know? Like, but,
Yeah, it's too bad,
But
but
it's nice that you
it'll
got to
get
have
there.
something outside of Marble too, right? So I think we're going to have a chat with E-Band too, maybe later
Okay.
or tomorrow.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. So you as a Petzl rep, do they sell any sort of equipment that could outfit what Marble has for the ski lift and the snowboarding for mountain bikes?
Not really for mountain biking, no.
Ski lift evacuations.
We have equipment that we can sell for evacuation purposes, like emergency from the chairlift, but not for bringing mountain bikes up the hill.
So they'd have that'd be a whole thing they'd have to outfit. But then if they were to do that, what do you both think it would be like?
Well, I think it wouldn't hurt us, I guarantee you. I mean, like there's something about it, like instead of usually bike yourself up or creating rides with trucks, you drop them off. And even like my first couple of years going to Squamish, and my brother and I took me to Whistler, and the setup is just it's phenomenal, right? I mean,
It would
but
be
it's-
massive if
but it's done.
biking was at
It's done
Marble
like
here.
lots of other. It's just
It'd be huge.
your bike goes in front of you on the chair, and you sit behind it. Here's your bike, and you go down, man. And it's
I think it will be huge. It's just a
well,
matter of time.
it's just that time. And honestly, just and nothing, not faulting anyone. I think going out west, far west, like Vancouver area, like honestly, I think we're just 20 years behind, and just victim of Atlantic Canada. Just whatever it is. There's no real answer, but we're getting there, and it's cool because I always says, I mean, I don't want to be too old to do what I'm doing now, and I think the timing was right for myself personally, and then, but I do think I can see it's growing quicker every day, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know? And there's a good group of people at it and passionate like myself, I guess, and I could see it working out very well.
Nice. Yeah. It's something that I've always been interested in, but I've never really gotten into. So, I mean, it would certainly bring me out here more if they
Yeah.
had mountain biking. At
100%.
Marble.
I've already seen it. I mean, and this race brought people from New Brunswick and
Yeah.
other communities like to come here for this race.
Well, I think
kinda.
most racers were from St. John's, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
really?
both, yeah, like St. John's, and there's an actually from the area, and I think a young kid from here has been winning, and
Yeah.
they say he's could probably go compete elsewhere, kind of thing. But even and they're doing it right, I think, by doing there's enough just natural hard terrain, I guess, and I think they're starting with what it's called green blue runs, more flowy, and even like I like the harder stuff too, but these runs are more in tune to the
Everybody.
community, everyone kind of
Yeah.
thing, right? And I think they're doing a great job of that and growing it, and you know, and then bike technology has changed with e-bikes now. People can get, like even myself, I don't have the time to get a friend to, you know, like bike with them. I just boot down, e-bike, go up the trail, come down the trail, or hit the trails around there, and then come back and go to work in an hour, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Right. So the e-bike technology, and that's going to grow, and it already has, and then you're going to see that's going to open up different avenues, kind of thing, until Marble does do the share thing, and I think that will happen sooner than later. I think finally, it's just now, you know, I think especially where our winters are getting shorter, but our bike season's getting longer. So I think it's more. I think it's probably worth government's money more to just probably put it in something like that, you know.
Yeah.
And this winter is a pinnacle winter. So I mean, if winter like we had another one like last year, it's gonna be hard to sustain it. I think, right?
And
So
Marble's changing is just super slow,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So you've seen a change in your winters. You think you've
Oh my
seen
gosh,
them get
yes.
shorter over the
Oh
last
man,
so many
like
years?
you said, I'm up in the City Brook, and well, I dad about to land 95, but I guess the 96 we had the driveway. I think you've seen earlier. The first 10 years there, on the other end, like the snowblower, we couldn't get the snow above. Yeah, you couldn't see the house.
Wow.
Now it's like we were dad's crew were out raking the lawn in April. this year,
wow.
which is incredible. Like, yeah, and usually the snowmobile business can stretch into even May on the trails and beaten trails, and they still come in our way. But it was gone by April this year already. Right?
So anybody into that business now, in the snowmobiling business and just the winter business, they're gonna want to start pivoting into something that has a bit more of a summer niche.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess those guys still do the ATVs and stuff, but winters just bigger business. It's more accessible. Like, and the trails and the ATVs are there, but in the wintertime, you can go to a section, say from Massey Drive to Steady Brook is a bit of a bog area. Like, you can do it, but it's not a fun ride for the people from Massey Drive to get there. But in wintertime, it's 10, 15 minutes. So I found that people from Pasadena were coming one way, and Corner Brook, Massey Drive were coming this way, and like after work, they'd congregate in my place and then move on for the ride and come back again, kind of thing, for food or whatever. And when winter cuts that off, you just couldn't do it. And like the ATVs will get there, but it's not quite there yet, right? So I mean, I would hope to see our winters come back more so than lose it completely, right?
Absolutely.
Because I mean, 3-4 months in November is not going to help us, any of us. Kind of right? So yeah, you need that season.
You need a big winter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope it comes this year for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely. And I do as well. I'm just thinking, if trends continue and the world continues to heat up, it would be smart now to start moving
well, I think
into
they
those
are. I
summer
haven't talked to
activities.
the guy. I haven't seen again. Just coming off busy on there. We're still we're all kind of still in that. Because I haven't really had a chance to talk to those like the Rugged Edge guys in there and Rapid Power, just see how that goes. But I know they are transitioning that way. I mean, the sled sales are going, pre-sales are going down, but sales for products are going up. So I do think, but default or like this, they got to see it themselves, kind of thing. And
Yeah.
I think the government does. So
Right.
hopefully they do. I mean, that's the whole thing. Is I kind of like. And again, no disrespect to Marl, I just build my business plan and just knowing the changes that are coming. I kind of like did the numbers that Marvel wasn't even there to see is this sustainable without Marvel kind of thing. And lately, like I think it is, but I'd rather see them flourishing because we'll all flourish kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's just it, right? So
It's a huge attraction for this area.
100%, right? Like, it's you know what I mean, my passion for almost like literally like leaving the desk job so I can ski more. Right? I was sitting on the desk watching the snow flow and like. So then ski bum and work by night. So that's where the bartending thing came in too. So you hit the god kind of thing up, and so I'd rather see that be able to come back again. Right? So
Absolutely. And as the mountain kind of flourishes, all the businesses around, like there's going to be more foot traffic coming through Piker's Place, and then all the surrounding businesses as well, right?
100%. I mean, and this weather's been helping too. Like, I think like year in, I think the word's getting out. Like it's just Deadwood's just far away from town. If you want to go with your wife for a quick glass of wine and a sandwich, and then do that as a night out kind of thing, right? Just, and that kind of thing. It's really cool to see that happen too, right? Just
And without Marble, like all the hotels in the wintertime, like Joe Dick's down there,
Yeah.
Marble was.
Yeah.
Places
There's
wouldn't
not
exist.
action.
They wouldn't exist if it wasn't, you know?
for that. So, but I think we're all. I know those guys are definitely trying to find other reasons to get them here. I guess so mountain bike can be number one. Just push what we got here. I mean, you can stay here. The beauty of the West Coast, Newfoundland, it's we'll call it 2 hours. It won't really, it's an hour and a half, like from what you can do from home base. And a lot of clients do that. Like they made Marblewood or the George's Cabins or Marble Inn their home base, and they go for a day trip and come back, right? Or rent the place a couple days, maybe get an Airbnb and come back, kind of thing. So everything's very, very close, right?
Right.
Even Rosenwarn's stay a couple hours away.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean
That's
that
lovely.
community thing. So I think people are starting to kind of just realize that Rosenwar is not the only place. They come over here to go down this side of the bay, kind of thing, as you want to call it.
And we didn't even really mention the zip line. I mean, that must be a huge attraction for people.
No,
in the
100% it is,
summertime.
right? And summer, all season, the zip line has to be of it, right? So I mean,
Oh, you do that all season?
all seasons, man. Yeah.
Oh,
That's
wow.
365. Well, other than maybe Christmas Day, kind of thing. And the beauty of that place is like we used to push the 4 seasons past kind of thing. So you go like springtime offers the big waterfall because of the snow melt. The fall is just stunning around here with the colors.
Yeah.
And the winter is it's winter, it's white. And in the summer you get heat in your shorts and sun. I think one of my favorites is probably winter for me, just because I remember Martin used to drop me off in the mornings. I'd go take the shovel and no one else around and shovel all the decks off. And after this movie used to get big powder snow kind of thing, right? It's just stunning to see that kind of thing. And the falls melted and you rip across and you get crystals going across your face and then line 8 you go through and it's pretty tight with the trees and just beating the pillows of snow off. So me personally, I think the winter was cool for me. And,
Wow. And not cold? Like you don't
well, you're dressed up. I mean, people
Same as skiing,
same as
snowboard.
skiing or snowboard or on a snowmobile. I mean, you dress for it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, and it's not like you're out in the elements for much longer. I mean, most tours are, depending on size, 45 minutes to an hour and 20-ish, depending.
Okay.
So I mean, but you're sheltered. You zip. shoulder, warm your hands up, and go. The hardest, so when people really get cold to guys, because it's hard to operate carabiners with mitts on. So that was always a big issue, trying to find something to do. So like, but even us, you just clip and go, and just get good gloves and go on again, right? So
yeah, the zip line is what brings so many people to Marble.
I mean, look at and obviously I'm definitely pro Marble zip, like the cruise ships coming in and stuff. I mean, so there's that kind of. Whereas myself personally, I haven't really tackled it because I'm only a year in. You got to kind of, a lot of these are pre-booked, and most people on cruise ships are coming here. They got their food and beverage on the boat, so they're not really looking per se for. But for me, next year, in the fall, I might try to put something together to like make experience of either come for a muscle boil up after the zip line, or come do a little tour, and then at my place for muscle boil up, or something or screech in type thing, right?
Yes.
And that's the experience we're looking for,
There
instead
you
of
go.
just coming for a sandwich and liquor, which they already got in the boat.
Right.
Part
The
of their package,
screeching, I
right?
think, will be wicked.
100%. I used to do a lot of it, and I get asked a lot, but it's kind of tough in my business where just people just walk in and show up. Right? I mean, you got to be kind of scheduled.
Yes.
And then where I'm like, the staff, I can't step away for like 40 minutes to do the screeching for two people and then go back. Right?
Yeah.
I do think there's solace, or there's
Yeah.
business
I'd
there, but
say-
it's got to be done correctly. You need the numbers like anything, man.
Right.
Just one or two people is just sometimes numbers of time.
Yeah, I think like the logical thing would be to do like one at 1 p.m., one at 3 p.m., and even follow the cruise schedule if you could get that.
Yeah, 100%. And I'll do it. Like, a lot of reason why I didn't get a screeching is just I've done it so much over the years. I just was done. Now it's got me on. Like, I'll get back into it, but I mean, I guess I got other things to worry about screeching at this point. But when I tackle the cruise ship business, I'll probably be part of it. Like, must about screeching and then give them a reason to stop in there, kind of thing.
That's
right?
right. I mean, you're still fairly new. I mean, it's a year and a half.
Well, I mean, Well, here, Canada was my year anniversary, I guess. So I'm a year and 3 months now, I guess.
Yeah,
kind of
so
thing.
you've got time.
And in my world, it's in the infancy, they say. I mean, got through year one is always going to be hard, and but what I learned from year one, I'm not doing anymore. Like, there's a lot of little holes that, especially the food, like I said, was new for me. But I think now, instead of being stressed, I think I'm more excited, I guess. And there's positive stress as well. If I didn't carefree and give a shit, I mean, it'd be different if I wasn't like worried about it, or that motivation to get. You got to do this kind of thing. Right? You got to make it work. It's not ready to sit back yet, kind of thing, right? So
I kind of got that vibe a little bit. You hear about paying back people who've invested in you. You care about your customer. You're very much invested. You carry the weight of their expectations on your shoulders, and that makes you dedicated and makes you work hard.
you got to probably be a little looser on that, but yes, I think that's the way it got to work. I mean, if I've seen it happen before, is just open your doors doesn't mean from any business, not just the restaurant business. And my financial advising background, kind of doing the restaurants and stuff like that, said like I'm not that surprised. Like I said, it had to take it takes work, and because most failures are those kind of businesses, like food costs, and like if they don't work enough themselves, or so that's you kind of got to be that way, I guess, right? Like I said before, so
yeah. So you have the entrepreneurship background, you have the business background, so you know the success rate of sit-down restaurants, and this isn't really a sit-down restaurant, but you've got the food vibe, and you knew that going into it, and it didn't deter you. You still wanted to lean into that food element.
Keep it simple. I mean, I know food because I don't buy groceries, I eat out, kind of thing. But I mean, making the food is the other thing. Making the biggest thing for me is like keep the price point and quality out. I mean, I'm not pushing on the best nachos in town, but people come in there and let the food speak for itself, and they get good service and quick service. And for me personally, try to keep those margins down so someone come in, have a beer or a drink and a sandwich for $20. This day and age is kind of my goal, kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's certain things you got to charge for, and we did lobster rolls. Always you got to charge for that, but you figure that out, kind of thing, right? I think my biggest learning curve now, especially at the time to look at the numbers, is the food the kitchen's finally making money again, right? So because keeping it simple, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like even as a small man, it's not that small. I think I do a lot of pop-ups with friends of mine, Park West, their pizzas or something like that. Bootleg Brewery down there, they're starting
Bread and
butter coming up soon.
Yes.
So I feature their food. So I mean, I don't make a ton off the food, or me personally, it's like I don't have to staff it or make it.
Right.
But they're buying that beer, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And it gets their name more name out. And a lot of times, especially this time of year, I've essentially got this kind of like it's fresh, but why like sub up every day or two, and then people come in, it's fresh for them, and it pushes them, and then they go there and they buy beer and come back here, kind of buy beer, and just kind of spread the love around. Kind of thing, so.
And there does seem to really be that vibe here in Corner Brook where a lot of the entrepreneurs you know, they'll piggyback off each other's services and they'll
You got
support
to,
each
man.
other.
You got
Yeah,
to.
and I think that was
It wasn't really like that before, you know?
yeah, just,
Fine, it's more and more people are working together now than
I'm just
ever
saying,
have.
I mean, like, just because you're in a restaurant, like, business, and like, it's funny in definition. I find if mistakes people make is like, saying one thing's working for someone, they mirror that. And it's just, I mean, like I said, I didn't create bars, I didn't create restaurants, but you got to create your own vibe, your own niche, and kind of go with that, right? I mean, whether you're not going to please everyone. Like, I got over that years ago. People come in looking for deep fried fries and gravy. I don't do that, you know, but I got fries, you know, like,
Yeah.
and then I got wings, or, you know, like, this is our way to do it, and that's just it, kind of,
Yeah.
right? I mean, unless they don't take offense to that, they move on. But if they stay, usually they're like, okay, that was pretty good, right? You know, yeah. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Greg, we have a recurring segment on the show where we ask our guests to provide some sort of actionable takeaway. So something that you do every day that you think might help somebody else who's either trying to start a bar or trying to start a business in general. Is there something that you really hold core to yourself that you think someone else could learn from?
work hard, get to bed early, get your sleep. Yeah.
What was that?
Work hard, get to bed early, get some sleep. Yeah, like seriously, like it's just about working hard. And going to work hard and foggy is one thing. And like it's going to happen some days, but I mean, get your ducks in a row. Just don't go into anything cold. I mean, like I said, this is 20 years in the making, like 10 solid, very planned out years. But in the immediate one day, like one thing the next is like be prepared to work hard and try to get your rest, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but also like I think find time for yourself, which is where I'm trying to get to now. I was like, kind of a day off. I knew I had to do it, but like losing that part of your own self is like I didn't do this to like be caught in that building forever. But you do have to put your dues to get there. But day, week, minute here, go home, watch the movie, just something, get away, right?
Absolutely.
You know?
I find sleep is an important one for me.
Well, that's
I'm
what
not
I found.
afraid
I
to
didn't need
work.
it until I was like, I turned 40, as I could say. That was the biggest thing, man. Like, I don't get my 8 hours now, I'm useless.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll make it work, but I'm less useful, I guess. Yeah.
I agree. 100%. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have known each other forever. Is there anything that you want to ask Piker before we wrap up?
I don't think so.
I think we got it all covered there, but
Yeah, that's great. You did a good job, by the way.
Yeah.
Really good job.
thank you.
Well, thanks so much for being on the show, Greg.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you, Johnny,
Thanks,
for
buddy.
making us. Fist pumper. I forgot I should know that from him. Yeah.